Welcome to this deep dive. Our goal: take a stack of source material, extract the most important insights, and, well, get you well-informed quickly.
Think of it as your shortcut to understanding what's really happening beneath the surface of the news.
Yeah. And today we're plunging into the world of AI. Our source material is an article from AI Deep Dive titled Leading AI Innovations and Industry Shifts, covering some genuinely significant research updates.
And our mission is to unpack the core takeaways from these developments and understand what they signal, about where the AI landscape is shifting right now.
So let's jump into what this source tells us.
Absolutely. A lot of moving pieces to look at.
Okay, first up, the source leads with Google's latest announcement about their Gemini 2.5 Pro model. They're calling it an updated preview, building on that upgrade we saw about a month ago.
Right. And it's already rolling out now in AI Studio, Vertex AI, and their Gemini app.
Okay.
With broader general availability expected in just a couple of weeks, apparently.
So pretty soon then. Google makes some pretty specific claims about this update, according to the source. They say it continues to excel at coding, leading on difficult coding benchmarks.
Yeah, and that focus on coding is particularly interesting because performance on coding benchmarks isn't just about, generating code snippets.
Right.
It's a strong indicator of a model's fundamental logical reasoning and its ability to handle complex, structured tasks accurately. So when they say it's leading on difficult benchmarks, it suggests a leap in reliability for developers using it as, like, a programming assistant.
Interesting point. And they also claim it shows top-tier performance on highly challenging benchmarks that evaluate a model's math, science knowledge, and reasoning capabilities. That's quite a broad set of claims, targeting some really core intellectual areas.
Well, what's fascinating here is that they're specifically highlighting these areas often seen as needing, deeper cognitive function beyond just language generation.
Yeah.
Math, science, complex reasoning, performing at a high level on these benchmarks, it signals progress towards models that can process information more analytically and perhaps even solve problems in a more structured way. That goes beyond just conversational ability.
And I noticed they also mention addressing user feedback, specifically improving the style and structure for more creative with better formatted responses.
Yeah, that might sound less technical, but it's actually quite important for usability, I think.
How so?
Well, a common frustration with earlier models was output that was, factually correct, but maybe lacked structure or just felt unnatural.
Okay.
So focusing on formatting and allowing for more creative expression shows a maturity in development. They're refining the interaction in the presentation layer, not just chasing raw power.
Right.
It means the output is potentially more useful and probably requires less editing from the user.
Okay, shifting gears completely then. The source highlights Amazon launching a new R&D group.
Yeah, this group has a very specific mandate:
Yeah.
agentic AI and robotics.
And crucially, it's nested within Amazon's consumer product division, based out of Lab 126. As the source reminds us, that's Amazon's hardware R&D hub, the birthplace of devices like Echo and Kindle.
Right. Connecting it to Lab 126 makes immediate sense when you look at the core motivation mentioned in the source. Amazon hopes to develop an agentic AI framework for use in the company's existing robotics efforts.
Okay. So to give their warehouse robots more skills, more autonomy perhaps,
Yeah.
that's where the hardware division comes in.
Exactly. Agentic AI is about creating systems that can act relatively autonomously, understanding high-level goals, breaking them down, planning and executing sequences of actions, and adapting to dynamic environments. Applying this to warehouse robotics isn't just about making robots move faster. It's about enabling them to handle more complex, unpredictable tasks,
Okay.
potentially coordinating more intelligently with each other and with human workers, too. This could fundamentally change the efficiency and flexibility of their massive logistics operations. It's a potentially huge competitive advantage.
Now, moving from applying AI in the physical world back to the digital realm, the source brings up a policy change from X, formerly Twitter.
Right. This one's about control over data. X has updated its developer agreement to explicitly prevent third parties from using the platform's content to train large language models.
And the source quotes the specific addition under the reverse engineering and other restrictions section, and it's pretty blunt. You shall not and you shall not attempt to, or allow others to, use the X API or X content to fine-tune or train a foundation or frontier model.
Couldn't be clearer, really. And the context provided in the source is key here. This change comes after Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, acquired X back in March.
Oh,
Right, so
wow.
from xAI's perspective, allowing competitors free access to X's vast real-time data set, which is incredibly valuable for training models, especially on current events and
So,
sentiment,
yeah.
without a commercial agreement would be, well, giving away a key asset.
The source also points out the history here. Back in 2023, X's privacy policy changed to use public data for its own AI training. And later that year, they actually made further changes, seemingly allowing third parties to train. So this latest move is a tightening, a step back from that more open policy.
Yes, it's a significant reversal, and it highlights the growing realization among platforms of the strategic and, frankly, economic value of their data for AI development. We're seeing this pattern elsewhere, too, as the source notes. Reddit has implemented safeguards against AI crawlers.
Right.
And even smaller players like the browser company have added similar clauses to their terms.
So access to diverse real-time data is becoming a major battleground. What does this signal about the future of AI training data, do you think?
Well, it suggests a potential shift towards more walled gardens. Platforms with valuable proprietary data are likely to view it increasingly as a revenue stream or a strategic asset for their own AI efforts.
Rather than public access.
Exactly. Rather than a public commons for external model training. This could make it harder for smaller labs or, new entrants without massive data reserves to compete. It could potentially concentrate power among those who control large data sets. It definitely changes the dynamics of the AI ecosystem significantly.
Okay. Finally, the source brings us to a very different market for AI U.S. national security, highlighted by Anthropic's actions.
Yes, Anthropic has rolled out a new suite of custom AI models specifically for this sector. They've named them Claude Gov models.
And the source emphasizes these were built based on direct feedback from our government customers to address real-world operational needs.
Which really underscores that these aren't just slightly modified consumer models.
Right.
They are purpose-built, designed, as the source states, for government operations like strategic planning, operational support, and intelligence analysis tasks with very specific, very high-stakes requirements.
And Anthropic claims they are already deployed by agencies at the highest level of U.S. national security, with access limited to those who operate in such classified environments. They also make the point that these underwent the same rigorous safety testing as all of our Claude models.
The fact that they're already deployed at that level and within classified environments, that speaks volumes about the trust and the security clearances required.
Yeah.
And the safety claim is critical here. In national security applications, the risks of unpredictable or erroneous AI behavior are just amplified dramatically.
Makes sense. The source notes Anthropic's clear business motivation here, tapping into U.S. government customers for dependable new sources of revenue.
Sure.
And they highlighted partnerships from last November with Palantir and AWS, which is also an Anthropic investor, specifically aimed at selling AI to defense customers.
Yeah, that pairing with Palantir and AWS is telling. Deploying AI in complex government environments often requires integrating the models with existing platforms and domain expertise.
Right, you need the whole package.
Exactly.
Yep.
Partnering with Palantir, known for its work in defense data analysis, and AWS, a major cloud provider for government, provides the necessary infrastructure and sort of operational context.
The source details some specific capabilities of these Claude Gov models that really make them sound tailored. They can better handle classified material. They apparently refuse less when engaging with classified information.
Interesting phrasing, refuse less.
Yeah. They have a greater understanding of documents within intelligence and defense contexts, show enhanced proficiency in languages and dialects critical to national security, and offer improved understanding and interpretation of complex cybersecurity data for intelligence analysis.
Okay, this is where that direct feedback becomes really visible. Refuse less likely means they're trained to process sensitive or classified queries that a public model would just shut down.
But safely, presumably.
Within strict security protocols, yes. And handling specific languages, dialects, complex cybersecurity data that points directly to specialized intelligence requirements.
Yeah.
It highlights how different the development challenges and the data needs are for AI in these secure, specialized domains compared to, say, general purpose or enterprise AI.
And it's not just Anthropic entering this space, is it? The source points out that other major AI labs are also actively pursuing defense contracts.
That's right. OpenAI is seeking closer ties with the U.S. Defense Department. Meta is making Llama available to defense partners. Google is refining Gemini for classified environments. And Cohere is also collaborating with Palantir.
Wow.
This proliferation signals that the defense and national security sector is rapidly becoming a critical and distinct market for leading AI companies.
And the implications.
Well, they're profound. From potentially revolutionizing intelligence processing, strategic analysis, and cybersecurity defense, to raising significant questions about the future relationship between AI development and state security. It shows that the cutting edge of AI is being applied across wildly different sectors, from consumer interfaces and logistics to deeply sensitive government operations.
So looking back at these pieces of news from this single source, we saw Google pushing the boundaries of model capabilities in coding and reasoning while also refining the user experience.
Yeah. And Amazon applying the concept of agentic AI to the physical world of robotics, aiming for more autonomous warehouse operations.
Then X tightening its grip on its valuable data, signaling a shift in the AI training data landscape towards more proprietary control.
Right. And finally, multiple major AI labs, led by Anthropic's Claude Gov, carving out a highly specialized niche in the national security domain with tailored models.
These diverse points, all from one source, give you a compelling snapshot of how AI is evolving and being applied in vastly different arenas right now. It's definitely not just a single path. It's multiple, sometimes conflicting directions.
It shows the incredible breadth of AI's potential impact, doesn't it?
Yeah. So thinking about these very different applications, from making coding tools better for developers to potentially transforming massive logistics operations, controlling access to vast data sets, and developing capabilities for classified defense operations, what does this rapid diversification tell you about the future paths AI might take? And maybe which of these very different directions do you think will end up having the biggest impact on your world? Something to mull over.